So with Dizzy Moore, it's more of my outlet to have the creative control that I feel that I can best way to express myself, you know?
Okay.
So not that I can't with
So you're a control freak, basically, is what you said.
no, I'm not that. It's more of like I can truly represent myself and what I want to write if I have that creative control. You know what I
I,
mean? You know, if someone else is putting their influence on it, it might not be the best representation of like my writing, you know?
okay, cool. So, like, what is your message? Like, what are you trying to portray when you sit down and write a song, or maybe some of the songs that you put out already as Dizzy? Like, what are you trying to convey?
Um, Someone told me something really interesting, and it kind of hit it right on the head. I really want to hone the vulnerability, but keep a very masculine like aspect about it. You know, a lot of men are like we have a lot of pride, and we don't set aside that pride in order for us to convey the truest, rawest emotion regarding anything that we write about. You know, whether it be love or relationships or just anything you're going through in life. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just inspire people to be able to relate to music that's so in depth, um, that they're just like, I this is my fix. I listen to this and I get everything I need from it because the way that it makes me feel, um, just I don't know, it's addicting. You know.
No, yeah, that's really cool. I think the strongest thing that you can do is be vulnerable. And I think that's like actually these days it's kind of becoming more and more of a popular idea where people like are actually realizing that like in order to be strong and in order to be like successful in life, you have to be able to break down barriers and break down walls and like let other people in to like what you're actually experiencing.
I agree. It's easier for my songwriting to flow whenever I'm not trying to be something else. If
Yeah.
I just let everything that I have built up, people whenever they are expressing their emotions, I'm not a very emotional person. I like to stay logical about things so that I can keep a good head on my shoulders whenever I have to deal with situations. And so whenever people get stress or like stress build up or like they get emotional, some people, act out, or some people write, like they'll write down and then they'll like burn the paper, right?
Mm.
It's like kind of, or they have a diary or, a therapist, whatever that outlet may be. Um, Writing music is like that for me.
No, I totally get that. I'm kind of the same way, to be honest.
So you just got to take things like that and do the best of your ability to stay on track. You know what I mean? With Dizzy, I'm able to I, just look at things in a completely different aspect than I do with Hole on Hollywood, because um, I don't. It's like baking a cake.
Mm.
The chef has a way that he likes the cake to be made, and sometimes having too many chefs spoils the bunch.
Mm.
And that's not any hidden, usage of words for me saying that things aren't well in Hole in Hollywood, because it's not like that at all. We have a very good writing chemistry, um, but the Dizzy Moore music, what represents Dizzy Moore the best is uh, a new age pop feel meets an old R&B feel.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I like to use a lot of. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. I'm a big Usher fan. So I wanted to hone in on what made them so successful and take every bit of those, uh, pop giants in the industry
Mm.
and replicate it in a way that is true to myself and is raw and still is able to be unique, but in a modern format. It's hard for me to be physically emotional, if that makes sense. Like I don't like I probably cried like maybe a handful of times in my entire life.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And so whenever I am emotional, it's in my music because that's where I can express it. And I think I can portray it in a way where I'm using it for good instead of it just being, useless emotion. You know what I
So
mean?
like if you were to put a name to these emotions, like which emotions do you feel come out the most?
Um, Working, like I write a lot about working so much towards a goal of being successful, that it's hard to commit in a relationship.
Mm.
So, I talk a lot about that because I have experienced that and experienced that all the time where it's like it's hard to give somebody 100% whenever you are working all the time. And so I talk about those experiences where it's like, is this something that you really want? Because I'm never going to change who the person that I am, and if you're here for the ride along, then you have to understand that this is how it's going to be. And like music is everything to me, everything. Music will always be everything for me, in every aspect. And I feel like where I can write and talk about my emotions, it basically is me expressing how much music is in my life that it conflicts with my relationships or any relationship that I try to have, because
Wow.
people don't expect if I'm giving 100% in my work, it's hard to give that other 100% to a relationship. And a lot of people don't understand that. They
Yeah,
don't
relationship
understand
works.
that hard work is going to pay off in the end. They're only thinking about now and
Mm.
their feelings that they have now. A lot of people don't see the big picture, and so
Mm.
I write a lot about that. So that would be
That
true to myself.
that must be tough though, cause like you're a father, right?
I am.
Man, that seems like it would be like kind of weigh on you at times, where it's like, cause you got this like extreme passion, toward music and your work, but then like on top of it, like you said, like being in a relationship takes a lot of work as well. And then on top of that, being a father, that's like a whole job in itself. Like, so I feel like I'm almost hearing that, like, I guess some of this music is you tapping into the, like, almost like the emotional struggle of, like, how do I manage wearing these different hats when I need to? How do I manage, like, being who I need to be 100% in the studio versus being who I need to be 100% when I'm with my kid
Yeah.
versus when I'm with my wife or when I'm with, like, you know, fans versus when I'm with, like more like management type people, like how do you put on your best face in these different situations sort of thing. Like I'm not Bob the Builder. I can't just put on my
Yeah.
my
No, the
carpenter hat versus my like
juggling is definitely hard. You know what I mean? You have to know what takes priority when it takes priority, and know that sometimes you have to make sacrifices in order for you to get where you need to go. Look at the guy from Amazon. You think the guy of Amazon would be the richest man in the entire world if he would have put his business on his back burner and said, "Oh, okay, well, you know, the girlfriend wants to go see a movie and she's threatening to leave me because I'm not spending time with her." Now that scenario is completely made up, but just for sake of the conversation, let's say that happened. He's going to say, "Okay, well, I don't need this person with me because they obviously don't see the goals that I have in mind and the empire and future I'm trying to build." You know what I mean? He didn't get to where he is by fucking around with people that are just going to hold him back. You know what I mean? And that's the same mentality I have, but with music. You know what I mean? If you're holding me back and not allowing me to express and do the things that I know that will will work, because hard work will always pay off, no matter what. No matter who or what you're doing, hard work will always pay off, because that hard work and that drive is going to lead you to building connections and building relationships with people that are going to do things for you. And it just, you can't go wrong with being a hard worker. Now, there is a blessing and a curse by it, with the whole relationship thing, but you just have to surround yourself with people that understand your goals and the big picture. And I feel like that could be a road to success. Anything that I do that I work hard for and that I work towards, I want it to succeed. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here trying to waste my time, but Dizzy Mour is just a whole different entity, and I can't really. Here's the thing. If other projects don't go anywhere, it'll be because of everybody involved. It won't be because of one person. You can't hold one person accountable for something that falls apart. And that's with everything. That's with every business, every band, every whatever the case may be.
Win as a team, fail as a team.
Yeah, you go down as a team is because of the team, not because of one person. With me, I can hold myself accountable always. So if I don't get anything done and I don't get what I know that the goals I set to get done, it'll be because it was my fault. And I can hold myself accountable by staying on top of things. You know what I mean? So it is a way where I feel like I should take the reins, because if I'm doing it myself, I have that authority. You know what I mean? But it's not, I don't, unless it was some life-changing movement or career advancement, I don't think it would ever take away from the other projects that I'm dealing with.
So
that's non-music related as well. I'm a bartender. You know what I mean? And I've loved doing that. I've invested into that business. I've grown relationships with the owners that, could be really, really good for a future in that business. And that's, to me, is the same thing like being in a band.
So as far as because you're talking about success versus failure a bit now, and I think that's the difference between success and failure. I feel like the root of that is goals. Because everybody, especially in group situations, everybody's kind of pulling in different directions. And unless everybody's going in the same direction, then no one's ever going to feel like they fully reach their potential of what their idea in their head is of success. So what is that for you? What is your idea of success? What is it that you're looking to achieve?
Well, I'm the type of person that I take pride in the little feats, but I'm always striving for more. And that can be a blessing and a curse, because I feel like that I'm never satisfied. And it's not in a way where I'm unappreciative, because it's not that way at all. It's I always want more for myself and the people around me. So striving for more, it can allow for, you to get complacent, because you get discouraged. But it also allows me to maintain hard work, and where success comes into play, and what I think is successful and what I'm striving to be, is my love for music is unconditional. It always has been my entire life. I played music since I was 7, 8 years old, live with my dad, growing up in bands. So I've done this for a very long time, or for what it seems my whole life. And if I can take that passion and the love that I have for music and be able to make it a full-time career where I'm able to make money and live off of it, I find that successful. I don't have to be a multi-millionaire selling out, every stadium in the country or the world for me to be successful. Those things are nice, and that definitely is every musician's goal, is to be on that level. But I would be completely happy with, being able to live comfortably. you know, playing music and not having to work some bullshit job in the meantime while I'm working. You know, like that. It's like I'm working while I'm working. You know, whenever
Yeah,
I'm not working, I'm working. You know, and so
definitely.
it's like it gets tiring after a while. So success for me would be for me to live comfortably on my music, knowing that it's something that I've created that has done well. And the thing is like people are like, well, you can get into cover music. And it's like, that's not the same thing. I want people to play covers of my music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want people out there making money doing covers of playing my music because my shit was in top 40 or my shit was in top 10 or whatever. You know, that's goals for me. But I can't I get nothing is justified and I don't get that fix by going and doing cover music. I don't. I don't see how people do it for a living and are happy. I can't do it.
So you really want to be able to see your originals on those charts. Damn, dude, like you're doing it. Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I want. You know, I want people to see I just want people to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm sitting on a bunch of songs that I want to release so bad. I want to release them so bad. But I know that right now is not the time that I need to do that. What I need to do right now is I need to write and write and write and write and write and write and have a stockpile of songs so
there
that
you
I
go.
can I have the next year planned out of what I want to do. You know what I mean? Next 2 years planned out exactly what I do want to do as far as releasing and marketing and strategies to effectively make sure that my numbers are right. Because I got to do everything by myself. I don't have a record label. I don't have a management team. I'm doing everything myself. I'm doing the songwriting. I'm doing the marketing. I'm paying for everything out of pocket, and I'm fine with it. However, I got to work hard to make sure I do everything effectively, and that's where I'm doing. That's what I'm doing differently in Dizzy Mour than I am able to do with Hole on Hollywood because um, I don't run Hole on Hollywood. I help run it, but I don't run it. You know what I mean? Hole on Hollywood runs Hole on Hollywood. We make a decision as a whole, and if we can't find common ground, we do a veto. Basically, most votes win. That's what we roll with. But in with Dizzy Moore, I'm able to trial and error everything. So whatever decision I make, if it doesn't work, I know not to work that next time. But I can't say, you know, oh, well, because someone told me that that's not going to work. I'm going off someone's word. With this, I can clearly know that that doesn't work because I experienced it and I did it. You know what I mean? I saw that it didn't work with what I'm doing. Now,
So
no two bands are the
you're
same.
still regret of what if. That's what it is. Is you don't want to have the regret of what if. What if I tried that? Oh, but I didn't get to because somebody told me I couldn't.
Yeah, or it you know, it was voted out. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, it's not really a problem, and it's not really so much of all that. It mostly comes down to the songwriting and allowing me to have a creative outlet in a different genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hold on, Hollywood's rock. Dizzy Moore is modern hip hop, pop, and R&B. It's like that Post Malone type music. You know what I mean?
Cool. Cool.
I like that stuff. That's stuff I listen to, but a little bit more singing dynamic. You know, more like Justin Bieber or Chris Brown or Usher, stuff like that. Um, those guys are where they are for a reason. You know what I mean? They perfectly marketed it themselves and targeted a certain demographic that allowed them to be where they are. You know, and it's genius. You cannot not have respect for them. You know, regardless if you listen to them or not. Like I had a conversation today with a friend of mine about Cardi B. It's like I don't really care for her music, but I respect everything she does because she is marketing herself flawlessly. She's selling millions of records doing dumb shit. And she knows it. She knows it. You know what I mean? She knows it and she's owning it. And you can't help but respect that. You know, and anybody that knows anything about business or being in a successful band or group, it's all about marketing. Music is 10% of it, man. 90% is everything else.
Yeah, definitely. As far as like R&B goes with like local music and stuff, it automatically kind of makes me think of like Blake Break. You know him?
Oh yeah, I've known Blake for probably 10 years now.
What do you think about his music? Would you see yourself kind of leaning in like a direction that's similar to that, or how would you distinguish yourself from what it is that he's doing with in the R&B scope?
Like his image is everything, which is, I think he's got a great look, for especially with how the world is now. You know, he's got a great look. Um, but differently, I would say I dive more into specific scenarios that people can relate to. You know, it's a broad spectrum of love and emotion. However, I detail it in a way.
Mm.
You know, he might have a lyric that says, I got in the car. But my lyric might be, well, I got in the red car. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like adjectives,
I'm a
more
little bit more.
imagery.
I'm a little
You're
bit
into
more.
imagery.
I'm a little bit more um, descriptive with the lyrics. Which that's the only thing else. I think that if we were on a show together, it'd be really, really cool. You know, they would both mesh very well.
Dope. That's
But
what's up.
like I said, I've been knowing him forever, dude. I remember whenever he was playing in bands and we were in high school. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's like,
he's a cool guy.
would you ever consider like working with um like his management team sort of thing? Like I was talking to his manager a while back. I think his name is like Ty something. I forget. I'd have to look it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. I'm familiar
But
with him. He
yeah.
tried to get a show with Hole on Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
But we kept getting, like, we booked 6 months in advance, so like
Mm.
it wasn't gonna work out. But I know his manager.
Gotcha. Yeah. And like I know they went to California recently to get on that Cocoon show or whatever. I don't know if you had seen that.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. They took a whole trip to California and went on this show where he went and like played music and they interviewed him and everything and they have it all like set up real nice online and everything the way they present it. And I'm just wondering like if you were to get really into like Dizzy Moore and everything and like what would be like sort of because you said you got your whole strategy planned out, like what would you be your next steps? Would you like do any like collaborations with like any type of like people who could help make those connections for you and whatnot?
Yeah, of course. I mean that I would be an idiot to not, you know, try to collab with people that are already in the game. You know what I mean? Like I told you before, I am taking this seriously. So if Blake wanted to do a collab, I'd be like, dude, let's do one. I'm down. You know, and I recently have been looking for management to take on. It's just I don't I don't really have everything I need in order for me to present yet. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I really haven't defined a separate look. You know, I need my own look. I need my own photos. I really don't have a portfolio yet. And once I have these songs finished, I'm gonna be doing everything I need in order for me to package it all up and send it to people so they can see what Dizzy Moore is about. They
Yeah.
can see what I look like whenever I'm taking it seriously. They can see what this or they can hear what the songs I'm going for sound like. You know what I mean? So it's all everything all at once and they can see the whole idea, and it's easier to sell a finished product than it is a half-assed product.
Oh,
So
definitely. And I can also see the hesitation with wanting to jump into that type of thing. Well, as far as like creatively and everything, when you were talking about like wanting to be able to have control of your decisions and everything, like so I could see the hesitation on like you're like I want to make sure that I know what I want, and I want to make sure I make these decisions that I want to that are important to you, that are your own decisions, before you get involved with people who are going to tell you like, oh no, that's not the best idea. You're like, hold on, that wasn't the point of this. The point of this was that like I get to like figure this shit out on my own.
yeah. And I'm not like headstrong to the point where I can't work with people. That's not the thing. I'm very open-minded when it comes to a lot of things. You know what I mean? And always open for suggestions and criticism, because that's how you grow. You know what I mean? Why do you think all these companies had feedback lines and what reviews? And because they want to learn, they want to know what the consumers are wanting to hear. They want to know what can make their business better. So if like, for example, if Blake's manager was like, hey, I would like to take on Dizzy Mour as well, and I see the success he's had with Blake, who am I to say that I know more than him? You know what I mean? I don't have the in on this genre of music. I don't even know where to start. That's why I'm learning. That's why it's new territory for me. But learning it as much as I can help me figure out a person that I know is gonna basically just get me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I want someone to represent me the best that they possibly can. And if I don't even know what that is, how can they know? Yeah. See, the thing is that sometimes I gotta take a step back and understand that things aren't just gonna happen when I want them, and that takes a lot of like it allows me to stay humble, because you know, it's like you look back on it, it's like, oh, I haven't, Dizzy Mour hasn't kicked off, and it's like, well, when did you start? 2020. Well, what year is it? 2020. You can't expect putting 4 months into something and then you be a star. That doesn't happen. Yeah. And so I got to remember stuff like that and be like, look, you haven't even put a whole year into this. Imagine a year from now where you'll be. So I just got to keep that in mind. And
it's just one step at a time. Keep doing the next right thing. Just keep doing what you know in your heart is right. And just keep following that and just pushing forward, right? I like that you talked about determination at the beginning, and that like how everything you do is just kind of like, you're like, I know that I can hold myself accountable. I really respect that.
I appreciate that, man. I have dealt with a lot of people that don't do anything for themselves, and I thought that they would do something for me, and that wasn't the case. And so being put in a position like this allows me to, I can't be lazy, you know what I mean? And I can't blame anybody else besides myself if I don't succeed. And that's all it comes down to. How much do I say I love music this much, but how much do I really love it? You know what I mean? If I'm not able to be successful on any level, obviously I didn't love it enough.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like, honestly, like from a lot of the people that I've talked to, a lot of musicians I've talked to and interviewed and stuff, a big common theme that I see is people like they have their own barriers that they put up mentally that stops them from making the leap beyond where they're at to where they want to go. So I think it's really good that like you're coming from a place of like that, like respect and understanding of vulnerability as something that's important, along with holding yourself accountable and having that determination. I think that's really good values that will sort of breed success anywhere you go, like not just in music but in life. Like I think that those, like understanding those things about like human nature is like super valuable. So I appreciate your time. Yeah, man, I appreciate your time to like even just take this call and like sort of peel back some layers and let me get to know you better as an artist and as a person. So that's really tight that you're able, to be humble and to be vulnerable and to just like speak your truth like that.
I appreciate that, man. Anytime.
All right, man. Well, it's already been like half an hour, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I see you're in the studio, so I'll let you get back to it.
All right, bro. Thank you. Take care, man.
Yeah, you have a great day.
All right, you too.
Peace out.